Hello everyone, listen, we have a special announcement, so I might as well get right into it. U.S. Secretary of Education Betsy Devos today implemented President Trump's memorandum extending relief on federally held student loans to borrowers through the end of the year. Her actions also address collections on defaulted loans and whether non-payments during this time will qualify for forgiveness under an income-driven repayment plan or the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program. Now here's what we know, okay? And this is going to be under the subject of the Presidential Memorandum on Student Loan Relief, okay? The CARES Act passed earlier this year and it suspended payments on federally held student loans until September 30th, 2020. During this time, collections on defaulted loans were halted and the non-payments counted towards the 120 payments required by the PSLF program, and as payments required for forgiveness under an income-driven repayment plan. With uncertainties surrounding negotiations of another stimulus bill, Mr. Trump signed an executive memorandum on August 8th related to student loan relief. Do you remember that? The memorandum directed Secretary Devos to provide, quote unquote, to provide such deferments to borrowers as necessary to continue the temporary cessation of payments and the waiver of all interest on student loans held by the Department of Education until December 31st, 2020. Of concern to many was whether this action would also cover the suspension of collection efforts and how non-payments would be treated for purposes of various loan forgiveness programs. Secretary Devos fully implements student loan payment suspension, okay, fully. Today, Secretary Devos announced that she has fully implemented Mr. Trump's directive. Specifically, she has directed federal student aid to extend the student loan relief to borrowers initiated by the President and Secretary in March 2020 through December 31st, 2020. Interest on eligible federal student loans have also been set to 0% during this time. All borrowers with federally held student loans will have their payments automatically suspended until 2021 without penalty, quote unquote. In addition, the interest rate on all federally held student loans will be set to 0% through the end of the calendar year. Borrowers have the option to continue making payments during this time. Such payments will be allocated to the principal of the loan, enabling borrowers to pay off their loans more quickly and at a lower cost. Remember we went over that? Federal student loan collection actions. Watch this. Secretary Devos also announced that collections on defaulted federally held loans will continue to be halted. In addition, any borrower with eligible federal student loans whose wages are being garnished will receive a refund of those amounts. The full statement on this issue reads, and I quote, "During this extended time frame for the payment suspension, collections on defaulted federally held loans are still halted, and any borrower with defaulted federally held loans whose employer continues to garnish their wages will receive a refund of those garnishments," end quote. Now, what about the non-payment of student loans counting toward forgiveness? One significant uncertainty was how Mr. Trump's executive action would affect those pursuing loan forgiveness programs. The action today makes clear that non-payments will continue to count toward these programs. And I quote, "Non-payments by borrowers working full-time for qualifying employers will count toward the 120 payments required by the Public Service Loan Forgiveness Program and as payments that are required to receive forgiveness under an income-driven repayment plan. The FSA is working with student loan servicers to notify borrowers of the extension of this relief." Now, the notice states that the outreach program will continue until the fall and to an eventual return to student loan repayment. Borrowers should see this new extension reflected in their accounts over the next several weeks. And boy, is that good news. All right, folks, we will see you. And remember, you need help business credit-wise, credit score-wise, velocity banking-wise, real estate investing-wise, we're here. CreditRaisinInvestorPro.org. You guys take care and have a good one. this is what happens. This is during this time, collections on defaulted loans, right?